Welp, it was bound to happen sometime. After 287 or so calendar days, the Birds have finally lost a game, blowing a 17-3 lead in the fourth quarter, and this game's got people talking and not in a good way. We'll recap that loss and discuss my takeaways, plus the latest Birds injury updates and our opinions on how the Birds can bounce back in a short week as they go against the New York Giants tonight. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right into it. What's up, y'all, and welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network, the best network for all of your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. We had the game in our hands, and the team was just dismantled in the fourth quarter. The Birds defense allowed Bo Nix and the Broncos to march all the way down the field on 3 separate drives, scoring 2 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal to bring the score from 17-3 to 21-17 in a matter of around 12 minutes. The Birds went heavy in the air this game as Jalen Hurts went 23 for 38 for 280 yards with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. However, the run game seemed to have just disappeared as Saquon only carried the ball a minuscule 6 times with 11 overall carries across the entire team for the entire game. The Birds were able to get down the field within the last couple of minutes, yet a controversial no call kept the Birds at a distance in the final few seconds, with Jalen Hurts throwing a Hail Mary to the end zone, to which our receivers did get their hands on it. But despite Jalen Hurts putting on the wheels to sprint to the end zone to catch a potential bobbled pass just in case, some possible friendly fire and coverage from an astounding Broncos defense prevented the incompletion, handing the Birds their first loss of the season, snapping a 12-game home win streak, and handing Jalen Hurts his first loss in a game which he started and finished for the first time in over 370 days. That's over 1 calendar year, y'all. Now, there's a lot of talk about regarding this loss and how the Eagles move forward, but before we get into that, let's break down some Eagles news. First things first, we got the Eagles' final injury report. So, as of Wednesday afternoon, it is confirmed that offensive lineman Landon Dickerson and tight end Grant Calcaterra were listed as DNP and will be out for tonight's game as they continue to deal with their injuries from Sunday's game. According to various sources on Tuesday, it's been reported that Landon could miss as much as 1 to 2 games due to his ankle injury. As the season goes on, I'm starting to think that maybe Landon was not 100% ready to go week 1, and that his continuous rates of injury aren't helping disprove that theory. I think him missing a couple of games to take time to heal and actually try to become 100% healthy will help him out. Additionally, defensive lineman Jalen Carter is listed as questionable, dealing with a heel injury, along with linebacker Nakobe Dean. Hopefully these two will be ready to go by the time the game rolls around tonight. And in other news, Sean Payton and the Broncos, embarrassing gloating moment. So, apparently, according to Eagles Nation, Broncos head coach Sean Payton, after boarding the team bus after the comeback win versus our Eagles, asked the bus driver to reroute the bus to drive all the way through Broad Street in Philadelphia to, quote, let them see the team bus come through the city again. Apparently, they were also blasting Meek Mill and partying it up in the locker room. They did it to, quote, make a statement. We're going to play your music in your city. Great job, guys. Good for you. You won a Week 5 regular season game, and y'all are out here partying like it's the damn Super Bowl. That's embarrassing and kind of pathetic, honestly. But hey, It must feel like a Super Bowl win to them since the Broncos haven't been to a Super Bowl in almost 10 years. They improved to 3-2 and we fall to 4-1. But Sean, you sure showed us by trying to drive through our city and playing music from a well-known rapper. I'm just trembling in my seat at the thought of it. If Philly did this shit, we'd be roasted like a motherfucker out there trying to gloat in another team's city because we won one regular season game. So go ahead, Sean. Party your ass off, throw up a banner for a regular season win, and then just let that karma do its work. All right, y'all, let's move along into our takeaways from this Week 5 game. Starting off, and this is probably redundant at this point, but Kevin Patullo was and is still not ready for this job. Hopefully, this loss lights a fire under Patullo's ass because this is just getting out of hand, y'all. It's either run the ball 40 times and pass 10, or pass the ball 38 times and run 11. He's got the game time consistency of a fucking hot pocket. Each bite is completely opposite with no consistent temperature throughout the whole damn thing. Kevin Patullo has absolutely no sense of balance, no sense of rhythm, and zero ability to adjust in real time. And after this week, he has shown that he's easily impressionable. This is not a good sign, y'all. How the actual fuck do you not think to run the damn ball when we are up 17-3 to wind the clock down, especially when we've been passing all damn day and they can anticipate fucking pass plays like that? 11 carries all fucking game is just unacceptable. I know the Broncos had a strong run defense. I'm not ignorant to that. But my God, there are other run plays that can be run besides running Saquon up the middle. Counter plays, draws, pitches, reverses. There are plenty of fucking options out there. How about we fucking utilize them? There is no reason that there were only 11 total carries within a 60-minute game time span that would make sense. That is one carry almost every 6 minutes. Completely unacceptable. These in-house hires because people are buddy-buddy, they gotta stop. It didn't work with Brian Johnson. It sure as shit didn't work with Sean Desai. And we stripped him of play calling around week 11 or 12 of the 2023 season? And it is not fucking working with Kevin Patullo. Get an actual experienced play caller who knows what the hell they are doing, because this is getting ridiculous. If you can't get somebody, let Sirianni and Jalen work together on play calling. Hell, just let Jalen call the plays, because apparently he was the one that called the play for the 47-yard touchdown wheel pass to Saquon Barkley. Try it out for one game and see what happens. If they let Jalen do that, and the Eagles just absolutely fucking dominate, then it may be time to look at some long-term changes when it comes to our offensive play calling. Next takeaway, and this might be a little controversial, but NFL officiating is getting ridiculous. Now, before I go into this, let me make this very, very clear. I am in no way putting sole blame on the referees for this game. Is there some blame? Absolutely. However, the referees did not win this game for the Broncos. The Eagles lost this game for themselves. However, it is hard to ignore the questionable calls and decisions that were made throughout this whole game. You got the late hit call on Zach Bond. You got Bo Nix on his second instance of intentional grounding. Gets that flag picked up after 10 minutes of random deliberation, even though both intentional grounding situations were damn near 100% the exact same. And then the cherry on top, the refs call one defensive PI on a Dallas Goedert catch attempt, but completely disregard the blatantly obvious defensive pass interference that the Broncos safety J.L. Skinner committed on Dallas Goedert right in front of a ref with less than 5 seconds left in the game. Why call one and not the other when both were so damn obvious? Why take one flag away but call the one before on two clearly same instances of intentional grounding. The Zach Bond hit now, okay, I'll admit, that is a close one. Troy Franklin, though, is still fighting for yards when he's wrapped up. Then he goes down, and like a half a second later, Zach Bond gets in with the hit. That one is debatable. At the same time, what do you expect him to do when he's running at full speed? But also, there was a little room for Bond to avoid the hit by turning his body, potentially. But anyway, this game showed evidence of cherry picking at its finest. I get it. You can't call everything. You can't see everything. I get that. But at least call the most obvious fucking penalties when they happen right in front of you, and don't reverse a flag when there's no clear evidence in order to do so. Next takeaway. This team is shooting themselves in the foot. The Eagles had 9 penalties for 55 yards, which doesn't seem like a lot, especially when the Broncos had more penalties and more penalty yards. However, a lot of these penalties were at very poor times in the game. You had the delay of game call on a 4th and 1 that was convertible to make it 4th and 6 and force the Birds to punt. You got our QB overthrowing our receivers. You got receivers slowing down on their routes, which makes the quarterback overthrow the receiver. You got too many false starts, a banged up O-line that isn't holding their blocks, an offense that is completely off rhythm, a defense that lets up in the second half, and the list goes on and on. And we're doing it to ourselves. Now, granted, injuries happen and it's not always someone's fault. I get that. But we are doing a disservice to ourselves all across the board on both sides of the ball. This team is acting very undisciplined right now. What is it going to take for them to get it together? And hopefully it's this loss. Because winning so much, it makes people comfortable, conservative, and complacent. It's not 100% a great thing to be winning all the time, especially the way we've been doing it this season so far. It also doesn't help that the team is shooting themselves in the foot by lacking an identity. And I know this is said over and over by mainstream media analysts, but it is true. The team has yet to find their identity, and you can't expect to win games without one. Everyone has been frustrated throughout the season, and they're letting their frustration get to them. With all this talent, there cannot be this many mistakes and self-sabotage. They need some serious team-building exercises or some shit, because right now we are not playing like the team that we are truly capable of playing as. And my final takeaway from this game, Philly is letting drama and outside media affect them. We hear all the time about how the Eagles need to throw the ball. From mainstream to local sports analysts, they haven't shut up about Philly needing to throw the ball for a long time. But when we finally do throw the ball, now they're bitching that we aren't running the ball. It's clear that the A.J. Brown drama, further dramatized by mainstream media, played a role in influencing the play style of the game in the eyes of Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo. A.J. Brown's upset, so they out here trying to get it to him every other play. And I can get that. He's your number one receiver. But if you are only doing so because you've been scrutinized by mainstream sports media for not utilizing him, then you're letting yourselves succumb to peer pressure. We are typically better than this. We're usually the one of the few teams to not get sucked up into drama, so why are we letting it get to us now? The downside of being a great team and coming off a Super Bowl season is constantly being in the limelight, and for the Birds, it's usually about something critical, but we're usually good about not letting it impact us. So I'm confused as to what has changed about that this year. The team cannot let mainstream Eagles haters or WIP radio or really any outside source dictate how the Birds play ball. However, some positive news came from this loss, as it was reported that Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and A.J. Brown got together and had a long conversation, apparently for like 2 or more hours or so, as they all try to get on the same page, because it's been clear, at least through Devontae Smith, that the offense isn't on the same page. That's a step in the right direction. Additionally, there's lots of Eagles players such as Zach Bond, Reed Blankenship, and others taking accountability during interviews being vulnerable, especially after a devastating game-losing collapse. That's also a good step. This team has a lot to reflect on, and I mean a lot. And it's not just the players, it's the whole organization. There's too much talent on this team to continue this pattern of mediocrity. Do I expect us to go undefeated after this week? No, not for the rest of the season. But my hope is that we take this adversity because, as Saquon Barkley said in an interview, now it's adversity since we haven't lost in so long. We take that adversity and do something with it. And hopefully that something is of long-term help. You can't put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound and expect it to heal properly. This team is going to have to put in the work to become 100% again, and I have the confidence that they are capable of doing this. We as fans just want to see it. All right, y'all, shifting topics into our Week 6 preview. Philly is coming off an embarrassing loss, while the New York Giants allowed the New Orleans Saints to get their first win of the season. Both teams are coming off a loss on a short week, and they're just looking for that spark. For Philly to get that spark back, it starts this week, in primetime, with the whole nation watching. Here are some of the things that I think the Birds need to do in order to bounce back and get the W in a short week. First thing, adjust, and do so in a positive way. Kevin Patullo hasn't really demonstrated the ability to positively make in-game adjustments other than Week 3 against the Rams. However, we need more of that, especially going into the second half. And honestly, the same thing could be said with Vic Fangio and the defense. Back-to-back weeks with the defense letting up and allowing the other team to creep up with points, and this time it was enough to hand us a loss. This repetitive, it'll work eventually mentality has got to go. When something's not working, fix it. When something goes wrong, fix it. It's that simple. Trying it over and over and over again after it didn't work ain't doing shit for us. Adjust in the moment and not with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter when you can't challenge shit. Next, find a sense of balance on this offense. Whether it's pass 38 and run 11 or run 40 and pass less than 20, there is an absence of any type of balance between the run and the passing games. Patullo has got to find that sweet spot to reduce predictability and involve all of our offensive weapons so that the other team's defense has a harder time predicting where this football is going to go. Find that balance and we're going to see success. Next, Jalen Hurts got to start running again. He held on to the ball way too long against the Broncos, which tends to be a habit of his. However, we saw him collapse along with the pocket, and it didn't even look like he was looking for a place to run as well when it was evident that no one was open. 2 carries for 3 yards is significantly below what we've seen from Jalen. He's got to be quicker with his responses. Don't see anybody open? Fuck it. Just run and get the first down or get the extra yards or convert that third down. New York's got a strong defensive line, and with our O-line problems, Jalen cannot afford to take vacations in the pocket. Fourth thing, for the love of God, convert on third downs, y'all. Right now, we have the worst third down conversion rate, worse than the Titans and worse than the Bengals. And their conversion rates are ass. Not being able to convert on third down killed us last game. We gotta dial up some plays that get us first downs in those crucial third down scenarios. Or else, we're gonna miss out on too many opportunities to score. And finally, and this might be a little weird, but I hope it makes sense to y'all. Use the absolute most proper tackling form possible when going after Cam Skattebo. Listen, the rookie running back for the Giants is a tough motherfucker. Dude is out here giving broken ribs and concussions left and right. We already got enough injured players, and I gotta imagine with the way our run defense has been looking, especially last week, Brian Dable's gonna try and run the ball down our throats, and Scatterboo plays like he's got nothing to lose. He does not try to juke players, he just tries to literally run through them like a ghost. He's also not bad in the passing game. So when our guys go to tackle him, I don't want to see any shoulder tackling or any bullshit like that. We need them Cooper DeJean textbook tackles. All right, before we wrap the episode up, I got a couple predictions now. This has to be the bounce back week. It just fucking has to, y'all. And I think it can be for the Birds. If they study the Giants game film from last week and exploit the weaknesses, the Birds can easily run up points on them. With how we played last week, the team's looking to get back on track, and I think finally, I'm praying finally, that this is the game that they do it. I'm predicting a 28-17 win for the Birds, with AJ actually getting into the end zone this time. Now, I gotta predict a Dallas Goedert touchdown, considering he's got 4 or 5 on the season already. And I predict that Jalen and Saquon will get one in the end zone each on the ground. All right, y'all, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at 2nd and 15 or by the full name 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can also find the audio for each and every single episode releasing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, or wherever you get your podcasts, with the video uploading to YouTube later that same day. This episode, 2nd and 15, and Old City Sports Network are brought to you by Custom Concessions. If you're in the market for repairs to your food truck or trailer, or just getting into the food truck business and need reliable service, check out none other than Custom Concessions. They use high-quality materials and provide high-quality service. Use the sponsors tab at oldcitysports.com to check them out today. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network. Don't forget to catch the game tonight on Amazon Prime. I hope y'all got a subscription at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time as we take on the New York Giants. We'll see you all next week. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go Birds!